Hello everyone, welcome to ITLS Academy. This lecture is basically on bacterial resistance to antibiotics, which we are studying from our previous two lectures, and this is the part 3 of the lecture bacterial resistance to antibiotics. So let's start part 3. Inhibitors of peptidoglycan synthesis. As we know, we are studying inhibitors from last two lectures, and this is the last part of this lecture, and we are going to see some left out inhibitors. So first of all, we are going to study inhibitors of peptidoglycan synthesis. So first is beta lactams. Acquired resistance to beta-lactams antibiotics can occur by three different mechanisms, that is, inactivation of the antibiotic, alteration of the target site, and the third one is reduced permeability. J8 lactams are inactivated by enzymes called beta lactamase, which hydrolyze the cyclic amide bond in the antibiotic molecule. Penicillins are converted to penicilloic acid, which is unable to bind to penicillin binding protein. A similar reaction occurs with cephalosporin, except that the cephalosporic acid derivative is unstable and tends to break up. A wide variety of beta lactamases with different structures and substrate profiles has been identified in recent years and classified. Many beta lactamases are plasmid or transposon encoded, but the group 1 enzymes are mainly chromosomal. The origin of these is unclear, but they may have diverged from existing PBPs. Transfer of these chromosomal enzymes by conjugation may be possible, but no evidence for this exists. Nevertheless, some reports indicate that these group 1 genes may be mobilized into plasmid and then transferred to other bacteria. Some group 1 enzymes are constitutive and expressed at low levels, but in other species, these enzymes are inducible by beta lactams themselves. Mutations in regulatory genes can lead to constitutive high levels of expression. Such mutations are of clinical significance since they have led to the development of resistance to newer beta lactams previously thought to be resistant to beta lactamases. It is worth noting that in gram-negative organisms, beta-lactamases are found in the periplasmic space where they inactivate beta-lactams before the antibiotics can bind to their PBP targets on the cytoplasmic membrane. In gram-positive organisms, however, beta-lactamases are exerted extracellularly and therefore resistance is very much a characteristic of the population rather than individual beta-lactamase producing cells. Here, if enough enzyme is synthesized, then levels of P-mactams may be reduced sufficiently to permit growth of non-P-mactamase producing strains. A second mechanism of resistance involves alterations in PBPs which affect binding of beta lactams. These changes have been found to occur by multiple substitutions through recombination rather than point mutations. Clinically, one of the most important example of beta lactam resistance is that found in methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus, that is MRSA strains. These are causing increasing concern in hospitals, especially because methicillin resistance is often accompanied by multiple resistance to unrelated antibiotics. Glycopeptides. Glycopeptide antibiotics interfere with peptidoglycan synthesis by binding to the dianylyl D-alanine terminus of the peptidoglycan precursors. Here, resistance to glycopeptides was thought unlikely because the changes in integral structures and functions of the cell wall and the enzymes involved in its synthesis would render bacteria non-viable. As is often the case, bacteria have a nasty habit of surprising us. Acquired resistance to the glycopeptides is transposon mediated and has so far been largely conformed to the enterococci. This has been a problem clinically because many of these strains have been resistant to all other antibiotics and were thus effectively untreatable. Fortunately, the enterococci are not particularly pathogenic and infections have been confined largely to seriously ill and long term hospital patients. Two types of acquired glycopeptide resistance have been described. The 1A phenotype is resistant to vancomycin and teicoplanin, whereas 1B is resistant to vancomycin only. The 1A phenotype is conferred by a transposon which harbors 9 genes coding for resistance. The transposon is transferred by conjugative plasmids. 1A and 1H are essential for the expression or resistance, which is due to a modification of the peptidoglycan pathway to produce precursors with reduced affinity for glycopeptides. 1B type has been less well characterized but essentially operates in a similar manner to 1A. Both inducible and constitutive forms of resistance have been described, but the reason for susceptibility to teicoplanin are still unclear. Next is fosfomycin. We are studying here the inhibitors of the peptidoglycan synthesis, and one of them is fosfomycin. Fosfomycin inhibits pyruvyl transferase, which is an enzyme involved in peptidoglycan synthesis. Two mechanisms of acquired resistance have been described for fosfomycin. First is plasmid or transposon mediated resistance occurs by inactivation of the antibiotic. The altered LPS, that is lipopolysaccharide, has a decreased ionic charge which results in lowered binding of polymyxin and thus an increase in resistance to these groups of antibiotics. A second mechanism of acquired resistance to fosfomycin involves chromosomal mutations in sugar phosphate uptake pathways, while the first was transposon mediated resistance. Here, the mutation in sugar phosphate uptake pathway, which are responsible for transporting fosfomycin into the cell. Chromosomal mutations results in the increase of a specific outer membrane protein with a concomitant reduction in divalent cations. Polymyxins bind to the outer membrane at sites normally occupied by divalent cations, and therefore it is thought that a reduction in these sites will lead to decreased binding of the antibiotic with a consequent decreased susceptibility of the cell. Next is membrane active antibiotics. In the series of membrane active antibiotics, first is polymyxins. Polymyxins are a group of antibiotics which disrupt bacterial cell membranes. Two mechanisms of acquired resistance to the polymyxins have been identified. Acquired resistance to polymyxins in E. coli occurs because of chromosomal mutations which cause incorporation of aminoethanol and aminocarbanoes in lipopolysaccharide, that is LPS, in place of phosphate groups. Here the altered LPS has a decreased ionic charge which results in lower binding of polymyxins. The mechanism of acquired resistance in Pseudomonas aeruginosa is different. Here, chromosomal mutations result in the increase of a specific outer membrane protein. In the resistance of Pseudomonas aeruginosa, polymyxins bind to the outer membrane at sites normally occupied by divalent cations, and therefore it is thought that a reduction in these sites will lead to decreased binding of antibiotic with a consequent decreased susceptibility of the cell. Multi-drug resistant pump. Some of the previous sections have described the acquisition of low-level resistance to various antibiotics by alterations in the cell membrane causing decreased uptake of the drugs. These have normally characterized as change in components such as porins, which result in a decrease of penetration by antibiotics. Acquired low-level resistance to many unrelated antibiotics by efflux has also increased in prominence in recent years. For example, multiple antibiotic resistance mutants were first described in the early 1990s in E. coli and were resistant to low levels of chloramphenicol tetracyclines and rifampicin, penicillins and quinolones due to impaired uptake of the antibiotics. Increased active efflux of the drugs has been shown to be important in this type of resistance. These efflux pumps are normally regulated and inducible in response to external stimuli and often mutations causing constitutive expressions are responsible for the resistance phenotype. The most common type belongs to a group of proteins involved in membrane translocation. This type of multi-drug resistance is closely related to specific efflux proteins such that responsible for tetracycline resistance. The origins of multi-drug resistance are unknown, but a number of factors suggest that they may have arisen by mutations in specific drugs, effect pumps causing a loss of specificity. Antibiotics with other resistance mechanism. First is bacitracin. Acquired resistance to bacitracin has been observed in laboratory strains of Staphylococcus aureus, but resistance has been unstable and no resistant mutants have yet been isolated in vivo, that is, out of the cell, that is, inside the cell. Gram-negative bacteria are intrinsically resistant to bacitracin, which inhibits the transfer of pentapeptide units to peptidoglycan. Antimycobacterial drugs. The advent of multi-drug resistant strains of Mycobacterium tuberculosis, that is MDR-TB, has led to increased fears of untreatable infections by serious pathogens. Rifampicin, streptomycin, and occasionally the quinolones. These are the drugs used in the treatment of mycobacterial infections, and resistance to those agents is as described previously. There are two mechanisms of acquired resistance to isoniazid which have been proposed. Two mechanisms of acquired resistance to isoniazid, that is an antibiotic, are also proposed. The problem of antibiotic resistance. We are going to deal with what are the problems of antibiotic resistance. So let's start. Antibiotic resistance is becoming a cause for increasing concern and is the most common cause of treatment failure in bacterial infectious diseases. Furthermore, infections with antibiotic resistant bacteria inevitably lead to the use of more expensive and often more toxic drugs, increased length of infection, and subsequent hospital stay, and of course, increased cost. It must be pointed out that at this time, the majority of infections, and particularly those caused by serious pathogens, remain susceptible to standard antibiotic treatment. However, this should not be taken as a signal to relax and ignore the increasing problem encountered in antimicrobial chemotherapy. The advent of MRSA must serve as a warning to be heeded. Vancomycin is often the only antibiotic effective against some MRSA strains. Acquisition of vancomycin resistance by MRSA would leave for the first time since the introduction of antibiotics a serious pathogen untreatable with any existing antibiotic. Penicillin resistance in Streptococcus pneumoniae has also emerged in the 1990s. This microorganism is a community acquired pathogen causing serious disease such as pneumonia and meningitis. Penicillin is a mainstay in the treatment of infections caused by this bacterium and is often used empirically for urgent treatment when such cases are suspected. The use of antibiotics is rife in areas as animal husbandry, agriculture, aquaculture, and even the oil industry to prevent to, to prevent spoilage by contaminating microorganisms. A particularly pertinent example is the use of evaporin in animal feed for many years. Evaporin is related to the glycopeptide as vancomycin and teicoplanin used for the treatment of infections in human. There is a mounting evidence to suggest that enterococci, which are commensals in the gut, have acquired resistance to evaporin and therefore cross resistance to vancomycin and teicoplanin in animals first due to constant exposure to the antibiotics. Conclusions. Bacterial resistance to antibiotics is often achieved by the constitutive possession or inducibility of drug inactivating or modifying enzymes. This problem can, at least to some extent, be overcome by designing new drugs that are unsusceptible to this enzyme attack or will inactivate the enzyme concerned therapy, protecting susceptible antibiotics that, in the absence of the enzyme, would be highly active antibacterially. So thank you very much guys for watching this session. You can subscribe ITLS Academy on YouTube and you can also get it on Google Play Store. Thank you very much for watching this session.